on the Coach's Call. I'm your host, Guido Perino. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, I hope that you think about it, and you do. Love to have you around, as I usually say, for a little bit of fun. Although today's topic, as you might have seen, may not be fun, because we're going to talk about Morgan Rielly of the Toronto Maple Leafs taking a stick to the face and head of Ridly Gerig of the Ottawa Senators after Grieg slap shots the puck into an empty net. The Maple Leafs were losing. Grieg puts the punctuation mark. Rielly takes exception. And of course, we have two fan bases and others now weighing in on what that means. Personally, I think it was disgusting that Rielly would do that afterwards. And I know I've been taking heat from some folks, not all, but there's a fan base out there that believes that Rielly was justified because he was defending the code, and that's not the way that you score goals. There's a way that you score goals. There's a code, and if you wrist shot it, or if you just gently tap it in, maybe it's okay. We don't know, but maybe it's okay. Depends on which player and how it feels. And you know what's worse is that you've got a SportsNet panel last night. I say the knuckle draggers, the small fan base and the knuckle draggers, some of which were on that SportsNet panel last night. Kevin Bieksa, Jennifer Botterill. Really? You're blaming Grieg? You're saying it's his fault because that you're justifying the action because of how Grieg scored the goal? You both have other content out there contrary to what you said. And so your commentating is very selective, okay? But it's also very disgusting, very shameful. And Ron McLean trying to soften it up. Oh boy. Oh boy. Look, I know, I get it. If Don Cherry's there, and I love Don Cherry, I've watched his show, Support the Coach's Corner. Had some good segments over the years, and Don Cherry might come on and say, well, that's the police themselves, and that's what you get for showboating. And look, man, taking a stick to someone's face and head is not right because you don't like the way that they scored a goal. It's not right. There's no environment. You don't work if you work at your job and somebody doesn't like the way you do your job and they take a stick to your face and head, it's not right. And we don't act that way. And I know you're going to say, but it's hockey and it's different. There's fighting and there's checking, and I get it. And I love checking in the game. I love hard hitting hockey. It's great. But a stick to somebody's head and face is not great. And the knuckle draggers over at Sportsnet should be ashamed of themselves. I will say Kelly Rudy at least had some voice of reason in that group. But the rest of them, disgusting and shameful. And some folks are saying, well, he had to respond that way. Because why? Why did he have to, with 5 seconds left, why did he have to respond that way? Because, well, he was being tough and he was showing team toughness. No, he wasn't. That was cowarding. Like, he was a coward. He comes flying off to the side after the guy scores the goal and is going up the boards and hammers the guy in the face with a stick. And you could slow the video down and say, oh, Grieg turned his head and looked and saw him. That stuff happens really fast. What he saw was a stick coming at him, and he ends up going down, right? So look at Morgan Rielly. You get zero props. You get zero props in terms of trying to defend the team and the code. And I think there's something wrong. If that's the code, there's something wrong with that code. And we talk about suspensions. Look, it got me thinking. Back in 1993, Pierre Turgeon, Hunter, in a very similar type of attack, takes Pierre Turgeon down. In that scenario, though, Pierre Turgeon scored and there was a goalie in the net. and Hunter still comes at him. And I think he got over 20 plus games. And then I was thinking of another one. I was thinking of the Scheifele and Evans hit. And Scheifele, Evans is just curling the puck around and taps it into the net after going to get it. And Scheifele comes in full steam ahead from, just center ice to the blue line and takes the elbow to Jake Evans of the Montreal Canadiens during that playoff game. And how did Evans put the puck in the net? Did he slap shot it? No, he was just curling it around the net. How did Pierre Turgeon put the puck in the net? He took a shot and he beat the goalie. And so you have all these circumstances, right, that we try to evaluate, and intent. Oh, well, he didn't intend to do that. I get it. I get it. A few weeks ago, and I said on the show, Brendan Gallagher comes up, gives the guy the elbow. Did I think Brendan Gallagher meant to give the elbow and hurt the guy? No. Was he justified in getting a suspension? Absolutely. Was 6 games enough? Probably not. Because I keep saying if you keep giving these Mickey Mouse suspensions and if you keep giving these Mickey Mouse fines, it's just going to keep happening. It's just going to keep happening. Now, the funny thing will be, what is George Peros going to hand out to Morgan Rielly on this, right? And that'll be really interesting in terms of, is it going to be the 5 to 6 games like Perron got 6 games? Is it going to be more? And that's the big debate. What's it going to be? And the fact that we don't know what it's going to be, that's part of the problem with the code and the culture, right? Well, he came from the side, he came from the back, he came from the front. He did it with 10 seconds left. He did it with 5 seconds left. He lifted his arm. He didn't lift his arm. The other guy shot the puck using a left-handed stick or a right-handed stick. You know what that is? That's all garbage. That's all garbage justification in a league that's supporting garbage in terms of assessing these penalties afterwards. You want to make this right? 20 or more games. And be consistent. And every single time, 20 or more games. Oh, and then there's defense. There's the guy that wants everything out of hockey. He doesn't want fighting in hockey. He doesn't want hitting in hockey. He's one of those guys. No, I'm one of the guys that wants good, hard hitting hockey where we don't have guys taking sticks to somebody's face and head. Right? That's the guy that I am. And then, coming at it with little clown emojis and insults. You have no substance. You're coming at me with zero substance. You have nothing to prove your point with except name calling and justifying a code and a culture that is dangerous. No substance, zero. I guess I'm a little bit angry about this topic, aren't I? Or a little bit animated. Look, it was a bad play by Morgan Rielly. He's going to get suspended. He should get suspended. He should get suspended for a long time. Given the NHL, I don't think that's going to be the case. By the way, you want me to take care of this problem, NHL? Give me a shout. Happy to take care of it. The other part of this, and I don't know how deep I'm going to get into it because it's also a different level of stupid. Sheldon Keefe puts Ryan Reaves on the ice with 5 seconds left after that. For what intent? For what intent, Sheldon Keefe? 5 seconds left. To me, NHL, that should be a fine. And some people have said, oh, well, you could put whatever player you want. It's the coach's prerogative. We all know what Ryan Reaves' role is on that team. He's not out there to score 2 goals in 5 seconds. He's out there because Sheldon Keefe is following whatever code he thinks he needs to follow, and he wants Reaves to go out there and wreak havoc, start a fight, do more of what Morgan Rielly had already started but didn't finish because he got booted out of the game. So yeah, Sheldon Keefe, I think that that should be handled differently by the league as well, and we should have some consistency there. Boy, I was thinking to myself, totally off the cuff, totally irrelevant to everything here. What if Patrick Waugh was the coach behind the Ottawa Senators bench? What if Patrick Waugh, that the animated, fiery Patrick Waugh, do we think we would have seen the Ottawa Senators, be rational and just kind of go off the ice or whatever? I don't know. And I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying you would have had a complete and utter meltdown between two teams, okay? And I love Patrick Waugh, but I'm just saying at least the Ottawa Senators could let's just get off the ice. Let's not deal with the stupidity that's going on here with the Toronto Maple Leafs. The reality here is this. Toronto Maple Leafs lost to a team that's way on the outside of the playoffs. Not only did they lose to a team that's way on the outside of the playoffs, they lost the season series to that team. Okay. And so they should be ashamed, not just for losing the game, for playing the way that they did. And if they really wanted to make a difference with your core five or core six and your $1 million players. Make a difference with there's nothing wrong with this team. There's make a difference with well, we play good 50% of the time and 50% of the time we're not. Increase that difference of when you're going to play a good game. Make a difference with your superstar Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Make a difference by playing hockey. I just came back from the gym and I was talking to a fellow and we were talking about UFC and we are talking about sports and the Super Bowl. And you know what the fellow said to me? I said, do you watch football? No, no, I don't. I watch UFC. And he goes, but I also like hockey. And I said, oh yeah, what do you like about hockey? And he says, it's a little bit like UFC sometimes. There you go, folks. It's a little bit like UFC sometimes. If I want to watch UFC, and I like this, by the way, I like the guy I met. He's a really nice guy. But if I want to watch UFC, I'm gonna watch UFC. I don't want to watch NHL hockey and get UFC. I want to watch hard hitting hockey, but I don't want to watch UFC. Thank you for joining me today on the coach's call. Morgan Rielly should get 20 plus games. Probably might get 3 to 5 if the George Parros Toronto Maple Leaf factor comes in. Sheldon Keefe should get fined or maybe more for putting Ryan Reaves out there. Sportsnet, shame to you. Shame to you, Jennifer Botterill. Shame to you, Kevin Bieksa. Ron McLean, come on, be better. Sportsnet, be better. Chris Cuthbert, Craig Simpson, be better. That's the coach's call. If you liked it, if you didn't, hope you still join me. Subscribe. Take care, folks.